Making your name stand for something to attract targeted consumers who are likely to buy what you have to sell. We're going to break that down. Okay? Making your name stand for something. That something are the issues, the themes, the subject matter in your book, whether it's fiction or nonfiction. To attract the targeted consumer, they're your fans, right? They are people who care about the themes and the subject matters that you're writing about. So that your fans are more likely to buy what you have to sell. And who are fans? Fans are people who will pay to see you. They're people who will pay for something that you have created, or both, right? Fans will talk about you. Fans are people who are colleagues. So start with friends and family members who really care about your dreams. And once they talk about you, then you'll develop new fans.
Creating a platform is so important today. It used to be, if you were a good writer and you could interest an agent, an editor in your writing, you had it made. Well, I mean, if you were really a good writer and you had a good topic and you had something that was topical for that time, and you knew who your audience was, because we all think, oh, everyone should read my book, but that's not true. We need to know who is reading our book. Who are we picturing as we type at the keyboard? When we think about marketing our book, doing promotion for it, who are we talking to? What face do we imagine in the audience? And this is a strong thing for me, as when I do speak in front of audiences, because I love doing that, I really look at the people there and say, what do I have to give this person? And I register whether the person is suddenly smiling or relaxing or maybe uncrossing the arms. I mean, not everybody is there because they want to be. They might have been dragged there by a mate. So it's very important not only to have platform, but to understand what that means. What that means is that there are people who want to know what we have to say, want to read what we have to write. They're going to follow us. If they can just find out who we are, they're going to want to stay with us. Part of platform is that we are doing everything we can so they can find us. And right now, that means we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn, we have a blog, we have a good website where it makes it easy for the media to find us should they want to, and I hope they will want to. And when we do get a book published, the publisher may say the window of your publicity with us is going to be the first 3 months, or the first 8 weeks, whatever it happens to be there. But we are just one of a list of authors that publicist is trying so hard to get out there in the world. So the more we can do to help that, the more we can say, okay, this is the platform I have and this is what I'm doing to expand that, then the better off we're going to be.
The first thing an author needs to do is not deny that he or she needs a platform. They have to understand that that's a part of what a publisher looks for, and that's a part of being able to use that as a stepladder to reach the next plateau. I view writer groups as a key essential element to building your platform. If you're in a writers group and you can say, I'm vice president of the Greater Los Angeles Writers Society, or I do this, or I'm involved in, we have a lot of critique groups that are all genre specific. And somebody says, well, as part of their platform, they can say, I manage one of our critique groups. I teach school. I'm not experienced as a writer. I teach history or whatever the case may be. I'm thinking of one author in particular. But I manage one of our science fiction critique groups. And that's helped build his platform. Speaking on panels, coming to conferences. These are all getting out, doing interviews. Anytime you have an opportunity to broaden your base, it strengthens your platform. I'm mostly comfortable in a boardroom with a couple of other people. When I have to get up at one of these conferences and speak to 50 or 100 people, I'm panic-stricken. So I go through the same thing, whether you're a rock and roll musician or any writer who just wants to sit in their room and write their songs or write their next great book, it kind of helps broaden my bandwidth, if you will. Platform never ends. It's anytime you have an opportunity to go help out at a bookstore. We have people that just come to our conferences to work volunteers, because it helps them learn more about what's going on. And it leads to interviews. You know, somebody spoke and somebody in the audience said, I'd like to have you on my radio show. And that radio show leads to more exposure. And other people do it through blogs and online websites. Some people are not website people, but they can at least do a blog and get some word out there, get on Facebook. I am not only on, one last thing in this respects, a part of my platform is I have 4 Facebook pages. I have Greater Los Angeles Writers Society. I have West Coast Writers Conferences. I have a personal Facebook page, and then I have an author page. And you might say, well, gee, that's a lot. How do you maintain it? Well, you just write something for one, and it'll multiply to the others, especially once you've built a mailing list. That's a part of your platform, is building a mailing list.
I think having a platform is enormously important. The platform of readers, which, platform is everyone who knows you in any kind of context. A platform is those readers or those people who are going to run out and buy your book when you say it's been published. So you need them. Not only that, those people are going to be your word of mouth advertising. And today, that's how books are sold. Books are sold more by word of mouth than by any other way, online and off, more online actually. So you want that fan base of people. Plus publishers are looking for that. So you want to have it for the publishers, and if you self-publish, you need it, as I've said. So no matter how you look at it, you need to have a platform which is this fan base, this base of people that you have met online, offline, everywhere you go, who are going to buy your book.
Recently I was having a conversation with an author who said to me, my job is to write the books, your job as the publisher is to sell them. And I thought to myself, I was kinder than what I thought, but what I thought to myself is, those days are long gone. If you're going to be successful as an author, you've got to also think like a marketer. Now, it doesn't mean you have to stand up in the public square and shill and try to get people to come buy your books, but it does mean you have to be engaged in and be passionate about what you've written. And you really, when you think about it, when you've invested all this time in writing a book, why wouldn't you be passionate about telling the world about it? I mean, that's all it is. Telling stories, telling the story of your book, relating the content, sharing the content. That's a better way maybe to think of it. It's really sharing. You're not marketing, you're not selling, you're sharing this content that obviously means something to you. Otherwise, you wouldn't have taken the time to write the book. I would say your platform, in terms of getting a traditional publishing deal, is at least as important as the content. It's the second question that every publisher asks when they're considering your book proposal or your book idea. Number 1, is the content great? Number 2, does the author have a platform? Because no publisher today can afford to invest what they need to invest to build a platform for you. I mean, it's just not going to happen. You've got to bring something to the table. Then traditional publishing can kick in. They can leverage that, make it go higher, make it go faster, make you more successful. But you've got to bring at least the rudimentary parts of a platform to the table, or you're not going to get picked up by a major publisher.
Indie authors, self-published authors, I do recommend looking at your social media platforms or your author platform. You hear that term a lot. Basically, that means everything that's online and offline as well that signifies who you are. Your website, your Goodreads platform, your social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Think of the ones that you really want to be doing. I hear this all the time from authors. Well, somebody told me I needed to be on Pinterest because that's where you need to be. I'm like, do you like Pinterest? Do you like posting the pictures? I hate it. Well, you're just creating a lot of work for yourself. Think also of where your audience is. If you're writing young adult, it's a good chance you should be on Instagram. If you're more political or technical, science related, Twitter might be your better platform. So really think of where your audience is, because that'll help designate where you need to be. And also, don't take on the world. There's no reason that you have to be as an author on all of the social media platforms. Pick the one or two that you feel comfortable using, that you want to use, because otherwise you're just creating more work for yourself.
Every publisher is going to make up what they call a P&L, profit and loss. They will compare the cost of what it takes to bring your book to market versus what it might sell in the first year or two. And column B should exceed column A. So whatever you can do for your own marketing is one less thing that they have to do, one less cost for them to bear. Therefore, whatever you can do for your own marketing can bring you closer to a yes. I get rejections from publishers all the time who loved the book, but the publisher's platform, but the author's platform was just too small. So even though everyone in the company liked it, their marketing people nixed it because they couldn't sell it. Well, of course, social media is the easiest thing that anybody can do, but it isn't enough, because you might have 10,000 followers on Twitter, but your followers might not be your readers. So that isn't enough. But anybody can do a blog, 500 words twice a month. I think anybody can be an expert on something and go around giving speeches and going around. They can sell their books in back of the room, something like that. If you can retain a publicist in advance and say, this publicist is going to help me sell my book once it gets published, all these things go in the equation.